Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about the Doge, and we're talking about the Doge father. Now, if you don't know, Elon Musk announced some really big news last night, and a lot of people are trying to decrypt what he's talking about, and I think I may know exactly what it is. Now, if you're looking at me, you're wondering, you're like, what does this kid know about the Doge? Before I started getting into stocks, crypto was heavily where I was focused on, especially trading with margin and using futures in the market using leverage. This is where I made a bulk of my money before I started getting into the options market. Now, coming back to this is where I believe this is focused on. So we're going to talk about that here in a second. I'm going to explain exactly what that could mean for Doge and why this could potentially shoot this up past $1 if this does happen. So like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Let's get to it. This is the big tweet that has everyone talking. Now, if you don't know, Saturday Night Live tweeted this picture minus Doge, and then Elon Musk tweeted this cropping in Doge. Also with Kraken, leaving some shade on the video as well. Now, Kraken is this right here. This emblem on Doge's neck is the emblem of their network, and I'm going exactly to their website here in a second. Now, I also had another YouTuber saying he didn't know who this guy was. Obviously, he's not with the culture. It's obviously Kid Leroy. His girlfriend used to be kind of hot. Now then we have Miley Cyrus, obviously Elon Musk. So that's the really big stuff going on. But what's the news about Kraken and why could this be so big? Now, if you're not familiar with crypto markets, then you might understand this. And if you're not really familiar with the financial markets, then you might understand this. But this comes back to margin and this comes back to leverage. And this is why I believe Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of these other cryptos have such a large market cap, is because you can trade with leverage in and out, and there's just a lot of volume going on 24/7. So let's explain that a little bit more. Okay, so what we're going to do is come over to Kraken. So if you go to Kraken's website, this is not where you're going to show up. You're going to show up to this. And this looks cool, neat, very user-friendly. But then you're going to zoom into the top where it says futures. And then you're going to come over here to Kraken futures. And this is where the real traders trade when you're trading crypto. And these are their current pairs that they have. Now, I know you're saying, Tyler, Dogecoin is already on Kraken. I understand. But you cannot trade futures with it. And what does that mean? So you have 5 available pairs with the USD market. And I want to explain this to the best of my ability as possible. Okay, so let me try to explain to you let me try to break down in the simplest terms possible how leverage can affect Dogecoin and trading with leverage. Now, for all the financial gurus out there, I'm going to explain this as simple as possible. So I probably will have some shills in the chat. So let me explain this to the average user trying to get into Doge. So let's say you have $100 in your Robinhood account, right? So if Dogecoin moves up 10%, right, plus 10%, how much are you making here? You're making $10, so now you're at $110. But let's say you could use money that you didn't have. And this is usually where people start to get scared, and you probably should be. So let's zoom back out. Let's take a really quick look at what could happen. So you're sitting at $100, but now you can use leverage. So what leverage does, it allows you to borrow money, but increase the overall risk of potentially, in this case with crypto, liquidating your position. So let's say I'm using a 10 times multiplier of leverage. So now I'm able to use that 100 and it turns into $1,000. So let's say I buy in at whatever price Dogecoin may be at. Let's say Doge is at 50 cents, right? And it moves to 55 cents. I would make a 10% increase on whatever I put in. So instead of it making an overall $10 right here, I would now make $100, doubling my initial investment here. So my net portfolio would now be worth $200. Does that make sense at all? I hope you're following what I'm saying. This is the simplest way that I can describe it right now. But what is the residual risk when you come back down to this? So let's say it moves down to 45 cents, right? You lose 10%. It goes down 5%, 10% from that range. Where do you move now? So right here, you would lose $100 if you were at a 10x multiple, and this would absolutely wipe out your account. You would have $0 left in the account. So this is the dangers with leverage, and this is how it increases the overall liquidity when it comes to Dogecoin and whatever crypto there may be. And this is why Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, and some of these other cryptos can maintain all the time at such a high market cap, is because this is where the actual day traders are sitting at, and this is where they're getting in, getting out, and this is what big funds typically are doing as well. Obviously, with lower multiples, 2, 3x typically, that's where they usually sit at, because they're able to make more on these small percent gains as well. And when you get into Twitter and getting into how these people are trading on there, this is how they're making their everyday money. If they're a successful day trader, this is at least what they'll claim to be doing. I do want to point out that this is extremely risky, but I also want to say this could be absolutely massive for the price of Dogecoin. So from Saturday Night Live, if this possibly does happen, let's say, he hypes up Doge a lot, and then as well as getting futures market available for it, that would be absolutely huge. You don't understand how much that could possibly increase the overall volume traded on Dogecoin every single day. It's also worth mentioning on the week, we can see the past 5 days, Monday through Friday, 38 million is where we start right here. And then yesterday, Friday, being 27 billion, I'm sorry, not million, being the overall market movement going on Dogecoin. Now, I want to point out, we're seeing the most movement occur during the week, and I can guarantee you institutions are now getting into Dogecoin, which is absolutely crazy to even utter out of my mouth. But it is actually happening. Dogecoin is becoming an institutional investment. That is the writing on the wall with this right here. People are buying, not just regular retail traders are buying. This is also institutional investing, because you're seeing the big price gap and the big difference from the weekend to the weekdays. Now, if you're a member of the channel, this is the reason why you all came, for the chart magic that we do here. Now, as you can see, we are making higher lows consistently. And just so you know, I focus heavily on price action. I do not use all the wonky, crazy indicators. Most people that use them have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, and they cannot even tell you the fundamental viewpoints behind those indicators and how that might even affect them in the long-term run.
That's my quant.
Your what?
My quantitative. My math specialist. Look at him. You notice anything different about him? Look at his face.
That's pretty racist.
Look at his eyes. I'll give you a hint. His name's Yang.
They just kind of look for crosses and hope the best thing happens, and they say to the moon. So that's really what you're getting out of those. The more indicators, that does not mean the better. But looking at a chart, you can really get a good grasp of what's going on by the way the chart is reacting and by the way the buyers and sellers are reacting, because it is directly inside the price action of the chart, showing whether it's getting bought up or sold back down. So as we can see here, we are creating higher lows consistently throughout the night and throughout the past day, and now we're getting great volume as well. We can come down to the OBV and look, as we are actually increasing, the OBV is decreasing, making another wedge as well, which indicates that we most likely are getting some sort of breakout very, very soon. So I'd be looking out for that wedge to be breaking back to the upside. And then you can see every time we get an OBV breakout, like right here, you see we get a massive move, and guess what happens? We get another massive run from about 65 cents all the way up to 73.5 cents. So what I'm expecting is when we get this breakout from this local range up here, that this is going to be pretty violent to the upside. Now, am I saying we go to $1? Yes, I'm actually saying there's a high possibility that we're most likely going to $1 in the coming few hours. The question is how bad will this thing sell off? I would anticipate there will be a sell-off no matter what if we hit $1. This is such a large price point. I believe this will change people's lives, and if it changes your lives, I recommend you take a little bit off the top. Most people aren't going to tell you to take profits, but I'm going to tell you, if money is going to change your life, do what's best for you, do what's best for your family. That's the right thing to do. This is not financial advice. This is just my 2 cents. I'm just a crazy kid who likes stocks and just got his finance degree. Hey, who knows? We'll see what happens. Wrapping up my thoughts on Doge, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it looks absolutely incredible. I do believe we're about to get a break above that 73, 74 cent range, and we're going to start running. The question is, can we hit that $1 before the end of the night, midnight? Can we get the big push that we need? And I do believe it may be upon us very, very soon. Only thing I can say, though, is don't be greedy. Do what's best for you. Do what's best for your family. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Namaste.
Check. The grills in my mouth, double